Hi everyone, in today's video I've collected the biggest scandals related to Minecraft and I'm going to tell you about them. Let's get started. First, Lionmaker, the complete collapse of a career. In the early 2010s, Lionmaker was one of the rising stars of Minecraft YouTube, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, family-friendly content, and a rapidly growing fanbase. But then, suddenly, everything changed. Rumors started spreading in the community. Fans, including minors, claimed that the YouTuber contacted them in private messages, and after a while, these conversations increasingly crossed a line. At first, many people didn't believe it. False accusations are common on the internet. But as more and more reports appeared, the story started to come together. The trust that had been the foundation of his career disappeared in an instant. Lionmaker's channel practically ceased to exist in the eyes of the community. Viewers turned away, and his name was forever tied to an early Minecraft YouTube scandal. But what does it mean that he crossed a certain line while talking with his viewers? According to reports, the problem didn't happen overnight. At first, it seemed completely innocent. The YouTuber began to develop a more direct relationship with his fans. Private messages, personal conversations, frequent communication. This in itself is not unusual, but over time, the nature of the conversations changed. According to some claims, the communication became more and more personal, the topics turned in a more intimate direction, and the nature of the relationship was no longer just content creator and fan. The biggest problem was that these conversations allegedly took place with underage fans. And at this point, the story crosses a very important line. Because when a well-known YouTuber, who is followed by hundreds of thousands of people, gets into this kind of relationship with young fans, it's no longer communication between equals, it's a power imbalance. And this is exactly why the case caused such a huge outcry. As more and more reports came to light, the consequences followed very quickly. First, the community reacted. The fans who had supported him until then started to turn away from him. Comments, videos, reactions, the internet practically changed around him overnight. The trust collapsed. And for a YouTuber, this is the biggest loss. The activity on his channel dropped sharply. A nézettségek zuhantak. A neve pedig. He became increasingly identified with the scandal. But this was just the beginning. The platforms and collaborations also disappeared. Other content creators distanced themselves from him. Joint projects ended. In the online community, he was practically ostracized. And finally, the situation reached a point where Lionmaker practically disappeared from YouTube. Not with a big announcement, not with any real closure, he simply stopped being present. This is one of the toughest consequences in an online career. It's not just the fame that disappears, and maybe this case was the first to really show the Minecraft community that a content creator's career can not only be built up very quickly, but can also collapse just as fast.
Thank you for finding the time when I stood among others and said that I am beautiful.
Second, Dream, the record that was too perfect. In 2020, one of the biggest names in the Minecraft speedrun community, they reached millions. Everyone knew his name or knows it, and he seemed unstoppable. When I said that, egy run, ami mindent megváltoztatott. Egy átlagos néző számára ez csak egy újabb sikeres speedrun volt. Gyors, izgalmas, látványos, de a tapasztalt játékosok kiszúrtak valamit. Valami nem stimmelt. A Minecraftban bizonyos tárgyak megszerzési. Thank you.
Rendkívül alacsony, és ezek a ritka események Dream játékában újra és újra megtörténtek. Túl gyakran, eleinte csak kérdések voltak, aztán jöttek a számok. A speedrun moderátorok és statisztikusok elkezdték elemezni a felvét.
Time.
Próbálkozás valószínűségét vetett.
I stood in between. I said the chance that this is just luck is almost close. Thank you. You found the time when I stood while others did. Thank you.
Blaze-rodot 50% eséllyel tudsz kapni, ha megölsz egy Blaze-t, viszont Dream a ránjaiban feltűnően gyakran kapott.
The time when the...
Pedig úgy is tudsz szerezni, hogy a Piglinnel...
I stood in between, I said, I'm beautiful.
...jöttek.
Oh my god, one more. Give me one more. Give me one more. Give me one more.
At this point, the situation exploded. The community split into two sides. One side said this was clearly cheating, the other side said Dream was too big to risk it, and Dream himself firmly denied it. He posted response videos and tried to explain the situation, and even brought in an external expert to support his claims. But the debate didn't die down. Weeks turned into months. This was no longer just about a speedrun. It became an online war. Comments, analyses, reaction videos. The whole internet was talking about it. Then suddenly there was a twist. After a long time, Dream admitted that there was indeed a modification present in the game that affected the drop rates. According to him, it wasn't intentional. But the damage was already done. The record was officially removed, his credibility took a serious hit, and his name became forever linked to this scandal. But perhaps the most interesting part wasn't even this, but what happened afterwards. Dream's career didn't collapse. In fact, it continued to grow, and this raised a new question. Does credibility still matter on the internet if someone is entertaining enough?
Harmadik történet. Szerverháborúk, pay to win és fekete piac.
Many people remember the mid-2010s when Minecraft servers suddenly became gold mines, but not because of the gold you could mine. The owners realized that kids would buy anything, ranks for 100 euros that made them unbeatable, or a paid unban, which allowed rule breakers to buy their way back into the game. The turning point came in 2014 when Mojang got fed up with their game turning into an online casino. They updated the EULA, the End User License Agreement, which is a set of rules, and they clearly stated that it's forbidden to sell in-game advantages for real money. That's when the panic broke out. Huge servers like the Hive or Mineplex were forced to completely change their model. But many smaller servers simply ignored the rules and continued under the radar using black market methods. However, you know, where there's big money, violence follows. Of course, here it's in digital form. Real wars raged between server owners. If a new server launched and drew away the players, the competition didn't respond with better content, but with a DDoS attack. Imagine you're on your favorite server and suddenly everyone freezes. That wasn't an accident. They used paid botnets to bombard servers' IP addresses, making the servers unusable for days. There were cases where teenage server owners actually hired criminal organizations to take out their rivals, just so that players would spend their pocket money in their shop. You'd think these pixel wars had no consequences. Far from it. As the Minecraft economy grew into a multi-million-dollar business, the authorities also realized that this was no longer just about childish pranks. Did you know, for example, that one of the most devastating virus attacks in internet history, the Mirai botnet, was originally created to take down Minecraft servers? Its creators, including a guy named Parasja, just wanted to DDoS the competition to drive traffic to their own server. The end. They crippled half the internet, including Netflix and Twitter. Parasja was eventually caught by the FBI and was sentenced to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages and placed under house arrest. There have been several cases where server owners filed complaints due to extortion and sabotage. In some cases, the competition escalated to the point where one owner used swatting. In other words, the rival sent a fake bomb threat to his opponent's house. No mercy was shown. Authorities handle such cases. Labeled as terrorist threats, many people ended up in prison instead of at their computers. Mojang eventually dropped a technical nuke. They created a central blacklist. If a server blatantly violated the EULA or used illegal tools, Mojang simply blocked the server's IP address in the official Minecraft client. Overnight, their player numbers dropped to 0 and entire businesses collapsed within minutes. 4. Minecraft Revolution, the downfall of the mob vote. Imagine that your favorite restaurant introduces 3 new dishes, but they tell you you can only eat 1. The other 2 are thrown away forever. That's exactly how Minecraft players felt every year during Minecraft Live. The mob vote originally started as an exciting community event where fans could decide the future of the game. But what started as democracy soon turned into a toxic civil war. The biggest problem was that Mojang made creatures compete that would have fundamentally changed the gameplay. Do you remember the case of the glow squid? Dream and other big YouTubers campaigned for it, and their fans blindly voted for it. Meanwhile, the other half of the community wanted a more useful creature, like the Isolager. This was the first sign that the system was broken. It was no longer the quality of the content, but the YouTubers who influenced the decision. In 2023, when they announced the crab, the armadillo, and the penguin, the community lost its patience. Why do we have to choose between 3 simple creatures in a game backed by one of the world's richest companies, Microsoft? That's when something truly surreal happened. The Stop the Mob Vote movement started, but it wasn't just a simple hashtag. TikTok and Twitter were flooded with Soviet and World War-style propaganda posters. Minecraft skins marched with red flags, and the captions proclaimed, "We have ended the division, and Mojang's laziness is not our problem." More than 500,000 people signed the Change.org petition in just a few days. This was the largest organized resistance in Minecraft's history. At first, Mojang tried to act as if nothing had happened, but the pressure became unbearable. They still held the 2023 mob vote, which was won by the Armadillo, but behind the scenes, something had changed. In September 2024, Mojang dropped the bomb. They officially announced that they were cancelling the mob vote. They admitted that the format caused too much tension. It created division, so instead they introduced the Minecraft drop system. They promised smaller but much more frequent updates, so you wouldn't have to wait years for something new. The revolution won, and the players showed that if they unite, they can even bring the developers of the world's most popular game to their knees. And that was the last story. If you like this video and want to see more like it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share your opinion in the comments. Let me know if you like this format, and also share any thoughts you have about any of the stories in the video, anything that came to your mind really. And now, I wish everyone a great day. Bye.